Hello friends, I'm Kavita Jakhir. In today's lecture, I explain classification of cryptography. First one, in this lecture, I explain introduction of algorithm, keys, model of symmetric key encryption, model of asymmetric key encryption, and name of symmetric key algorithms and asymmetric key algorithms, and the application where cryptographic concept we use in day-to-day life. First one is algorithm and key. Actually, algorithm is a recipe, or we can say it's a step-by-step process by which we can solve complex mathematical problems easily, or we can implement complex mathematical problem in our programming language. But in terms of cryptography, algorithm is the complex mathematical formula that is used to convert plain text to a ciphertext is known as a algorithm. And second one is a key. Key is a secret value that we use for encryption and decryption process of our data information. Means it's a random number of non-numeric, non-alphabetic numeric, alphabetic numeric, and numeric values. First one, there are two types of key, symmetric key and asymmetric key. Actually symmetric key sometimes called a shared key or a conventional key or a private key. Actually symmetric key is a same key used for an encryption and decryption process. It means sender and receiver use same key for encryption and decryption process. But other one is a asymmetric key. In asymmetric key, it's sometimes called a public key. Means different key is used for encryption and decryption process by the sender and receiver. It means we can say if one key used by the one key is used by the sender for a encryption process, then other key used by the receiver for a decryption process, and vice versa. So here one key is a public key and other one is a private key. So public key is shared with everyone, or each and every persons or a community, but private key is a secret key, so it keep with itself. Now what is symmetric key encryption? Actually symmetric key encryption means same key used by the sender and receiver. Sometimes it's called a secret key cryptography or a private key encryption cryptography and conventional key cryptography. All classical encryption algorithms are symmetric key encryptions, and nowadays widely used in worldwide symmetric key encryption for data transactions. Suppose in now symmetric key model. In this model, actually what is process followed by the sender and receiver, and what is happening in the mid of insecure channel shown in this figure. In the figure of symmetric cipher model, there are 5 main components. One is plain text, other one is encryption algorithm, next one is a key, and fourth one is a decryption algorithm, and fifth is cipher text. So suppose sender is a name of sender is a Alice and receiver is Bob here. Now first we going to how to process is happening before we understand 5 components that use in symmetric key cipher model. First one is a plain text. It is a original message or a data that is fed into the algorithm as a input. Second one is a encryption algorithm. It's a process or a algorithm perform various substitution and transpositions technique on the plain text, so plain text convert into a cipher text. Other one is a secret key. Secret key or a shared key. Shared key means same key used by the sender and receiver, and secret means secret information of some random numbers collection to use for encryption and decryption process. So actually the the key is a value independent of the plain text and the algorithm. The algorithm will produce a different output depending on the specific key being used at that time. The exact substitution and transposition performed by the algorithm depends on the key. Now next one is a ciphertext. Ciphertext is a encrypted message or we can say non-readable form of plain text that produced by the encryption algorithm apply on the plain text. So we with the help of secret key given to that plain text. Next one is a decryption algorithm. Decryption algorithm is a process by which we convert ciphertext into a plain text. Means we receiver receive a original message through with the help of decryption algorithm. So now understand how to process happening in this media. Actually sender is a Alice and receiver is a Bob. So here suppose Alice want to communicate with Bob through insecure channel. So in channel EV as a opponent or an interrupter. So what is the purpose of encryption and decryption? EV can't understand the content of message by simply eavesdropping over the channel. So the original message from Bob to send Alice to send to Bob, it's as a plain text, but the message that is sent through the channel is called a ciphertext for a security purpose. The create of ciphertext from plain text. So Alice used the encryption algorithm to convert plain text to a ciphertext. And here in other side, Bob perform a decryption algorithm to convert ciphertext to a plain text of a message, and both use same key for encryption and decryption. Now what is the requirement of symmetric key encryption? If Alice want confidential message or a private message to Bob, then what step followed by the Alice and Bob? Actually first of all Alice choose a message that want to send to Bob, and after choosing message Alice compute ciphertext with the help of encryption algorithm and shared key, and this ciphertext converted message sent to Bob through insecure channel. Then Bob receive a ciphertext and that convert into a plain text with the help of decryption algorithm and shared key, and finally Bob receive a actual message that sent by the Alice. Here C means ciphertext or a non-readable message, E means encryption process, K means shared key or a secret key, and P is a plain text. Now what's the requirement for symmetric encryption? Actually there are two basic requirements for secure communication create in symmetric key encryption. First one is strong encryption algorithm. Actually it's the minimum requirement of each and every communication in symmetric way. We would like the algorithm to be such that an opponent who knows the algorithm and has access to one or more ciphertexts would be able to decipher the ciphertext or in a given figure or in a given key out. The requirement is usually started in a strong form. The opponent should be unable to decrypt, cipher or decode the key even if he or she is processing of numbers of cipher together with the plain text that produce each cipher. Other one is sender and receiver both know about the secret key. Means sender and receiver must have obtained copy of secure secret key in a secure manner and must keep the key is secure. If someone can discover the key and know the which algorithm is used for in encryption, so all communication using this key is readable by the introducer or a opponent. And we can assume encryption algorithm is known by each and everyone. So but here is one drawback. Actually there are biggest problem how to distribute our secret key or a shared key. So here distribution of key is a big problem for the symmetric key encryption. Now advantage and disadvantage of symmetric key algorithm. Advantage of symmetric key algorithm, it's a simple. Actually symmetric key encryption is a easy to carry out. All users have to do is specific and share the secret key and then begin to encrypt and decrypt messages with the same key. So it's a simple. Encryption and decryption of common files or a documents. If you use encryption for messages or a file which you allow instead to access, there is no need to create different key. Single key is used for best all files, all documents to encrypt or decrypt. Fast. Symmetric key is a faster than asymmetric key because here no more mathematical complex program is used for encryption and decryption. But in asymmetric key encryption there complex mathematical formulas apply, so this take a more time as compared to symmetric key. Uses less computer resources. Actually symmetric key use only same key for encryption and decryption, so when it's take a less resources as compared to asymmetric. Prevent widespread message security compromises. A different security key is used for communication with each different party. If a key is compromised, only the message being a particular pair of sender and receiver are affected. Communication with other people are still secure because same key not used for all the users. Here if I want to communicate with two persons, then there are two shared keys used, one for one person and other shared key is used for other person. The disadvantage of symmetric key encryption. First one, need for secure channels for secret key extension. It means sharing the secret key is beginning is a problem in symmetric key encryption. It has to exchange in a way that ensure it remains secret. Too many keys. Here different key used for different parties. So a new shared key has to be generated for the communication with each different parties. This creates a problem with managing and ensuring the security of all these keys are secure. Origin and authenticity of message can't be guaranteed since both sender and receiver use same key. So message can't be verified to have come from a particular user. This may be a problem if there is dispute. Now second one method is asymmetric key encryption. In asymmetric key encryption, it's called a public key encryption. In this, sender and receiver both use different key. If sender use a private key, then receiver use her or his public key. If sender use a public key, then receiver use own private key for decryption. So here two keys are used for encryption and decryption. One is private and other one is public. One key is used for encrypt or encode, then other key is used for decrypt or decode. Now these are the model of asymmetric key algorithm. Here also 5 main components. One is plain text, other one is encryption algorithm, third one is key, fourth one is a ciphertext, and fifth one is a decryption algorithm. But here key are two types. One is public and then other one is private. If public key is used for encryption, then private key is used for decryption, or if private key is used for encryption, then public key used for decryption. So here public key is shared with everyone through a website or through a distribution channel or through a communication channel, but private key is secret, so he and she kept with itself. Now what's the process followed by the asymmetric communication? We already know in asymmetric key encryption there are two keys used by the sender and receiver. One is public and other one is private. So suppose Bob and Alice want to communicate with each other. Then Bob has one public key and private key. Similarly, Alice also have public key and one private key. Now suppose Alice want to send a message to Bob and message is hello, how are you? Then Alice find out Bob's public key through a website or through a communication channel or a distribution channel. Then Alice computes ciphertext of plaintext with the help of Bob's public key and convert into a ciphertext. So now ciphertext send through the insecure channel to Bob. So Bob receive ciphertext that sent by the Alice, and Bob apply one private key for a decryption of that ciphertext and decrypted this message ciphertext into a plain text with the help of one private key, and finally Bob receive a plain text. If suppose if Alice want to use one private key for the encryption, then Bob use Alice public key for the decryption, because both vice versa process happening is here. Now next one, what's the advantage and disadvantage of asymmetric key encryption? Actually there are different key used by the sender and receiver, so key distribution not a problem here, so security is increased as compared to symmetric key encryption. Next one is a convenience. It solves the problem of key distribution of encryption, so everyone publish their own key and private key are kept because it's a secret. Provides the message authentication. It means the public key encryption allows the user the use of digital signatures, which enables the reception of a message to verify that the message is true from a particular sender. And next advantage is detection of tampering. Means the use of digital signature is public key encryption allow the user to detect if the message was alerted in transit. A digital signature message can't be modified without invalidating the signature. Next one is provide the non-repudiation. Non-repudiation means no can deny for happening operation and doing operation. It means digital signing a message is, to a physically signing a document. It is the acknowledgement of the message, and thus the sender can't deny for doing that activity. Now there are some disadvantages of asymmetric key encryption. First one is public key must be authenticated. Means no one can be absolutely sure that a public key belongs to a person it specifies, and so everyone must verify that their public key belongs to them. Next one is slow. Asymmetric key encryption use complex mathematical problems, formulas like exponential, logarithm and discrete mathematical functions, so it's slower as compared to asymmetric encryption, as compared to symmetric encryption, because symmetric key encryption use only substitution and transposition techniques. Means changing of sequence or a jumbling of numbers and zigzag motion of numbers. But in asymmetric key, here we use complex mathematical formulas, means exception, means logarithm process, exponential process, and digital mathematical formulas like Euclidean algorithm for inverse, Jacobi function, and Euler theorem and Fermat-Little theorem. These are the used in asymmetric key encryption. So it's a slower as compared to symmetric encryption. Uses up more computer resources because here two keys are used for encryption and decryption. So as compared to symmetric, here one process is more, so more resources used by the computer. Widespread security compromise is possible if attacker determine a person's private key, so his and her entire message can be read, because private key is only issued for one candidate to only one. There are no different key used for different parties. Same private key is used for all parties. Loss of private key may be a irreparable, means the loss of private key means that all received message can't be decrypted easily and by anyone. Now there are the list of symmetric key algorithm that we use for encryption and decryption in nowadays. DES, data encryption standard. AES, advanced encryption standard. IDEA, international data encryption algorithm. OTP, one time password. PGP, pretty good privacy. RC4 and RC5 etc. are the algorithms that we use for encryption, symmetric key encryptions. And there are some algorithms that we use for asymmetric key encryption. Asymmetric key encryption. These are the RSA, Diffie-Hellman key exchange, DSA, digital signature algorithm, elliptical curve cryptography, and quantum cryptography, hashing algorithm, message digest algorithm, and secure hash algorithms. These are used for the asymmetric key encryption nowadays. Generally these are used in a web browser security, mobile phone security, etc. Now difference between symmetric and asymmetric key encryption. In terms of key, symmetric key use same key and asymmetric key encryption use different key. One is a private and other one is a public key. When we talking about the key exchange, then symmetric key in symmetric key encryption, it's a out of bound or a big problem because same key is used by the sender and receiver and communication media is insecure. But in terms of asymmetric, there are, it's a in a bound or no problem for at all, because there are send message through different key and receiver use different key for the decryption. Speed, actually symmetric key encryption is speed is a faster as compared to asymmetric, because here less complex mathematical formulas is applied, but in asymmetric key algorithm here more complex formulas is applied, so it's a more is a less speed as compared to symmetric key encryption. When we talking about security services, then symmetric key encryption provide confidentiality and integrity, but asymmetric key provides authentication, non-repudiation, integrity and confidentiality services. Size of resulting, in symmetric key encryption, the size of result is similar or a less as compared to original message, but in asymmetric key encryption the size of result is always or most of time larger as compared to original message. Key length, in symmetric key encryption key length is a fixed, but in asymmetric key encryption key length is variable. There are applications where symmetric key is used, like bulk encryption like files, documents. Here we use the symmetric key encryption, but when we talking about pin code, ATM, password, user ID and web-based securities, then asymmetric key encryption is used. Now, some applications where cryptography is widely used nowadays, like SMIME, secure multimedia internet mail extension, email encryption, cell phone, banking cards, e-password means electronic password, iPod, Kindle book, true cryptography, secure cell, plug-in, Thunderbirds, HDC multimedia protection, private network VPN, and non online banking, etc. are the application where we use cryptographic concepts for securing our data. Means we convert our plain text message to a ciphertext and ciphertext message to a plain text in secure communication. Thank you.